Hi everyone, this is Nida of Created to Create. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a project share and I also have an update on the It's a Family Secret recipe book. They have all gone out, so you guys that ordered them, regardless of how you ordered them, they all went out priority mail. I really appreciate your support, you guys. I really appreciate that you guys support me in this little venture that I'm doing right now, because creating I really enjoy creating, period. So that gives me an outlet to where I can create and still continue to create, but it's not things that are piling up in my craft room. So I am so grateful, guys. Really, I saw a bunch of repeat customers there. Ladies, I see you and I appreciate you. So today I wanted to share um a dessert one, because I want to host, God willing, I want to host a recipe swap for those ladies that bought the mixer and that are interested in swapping recipes. I want to host a recipe swap, but the first one, and it's going to be a year long. That doesn't mean you're going to create one every month. It doesn't mean that you have to, if you join up for the one, that you have to do all of them. It just means that there will be several swaps around this mixer, because I usually bake for the holidays, or for gifts and stuff like that. So I like to collect good recipes, and I also like to share my recipes. So what I'm thinking is that the first one will be for Valentine's Day, and then the next one is Resurrection Day, which is Easter, and maybe a 4th of July one, uh and then maybe a Thanksgiving slash fall one, and then the last one will be a Christmas one. So it's about four or five. I might just throw in a summer, but I don't think so, because 4th of July is pretty much in the summer, so I don't really need to do that. But that's what I want to do. And the reason that I want to use my recipe, for those ladies who bought the recipe die, the mixer die, because I want the ladies to be able to receive their recipe and put it in their binder, and not have to worry about that it's not the same size, it doesn't fit, and none of that stuff. So, I mean, I think this will be a really fun swap. So I'm going to share with you my sample that I created. And I'm just starting to build my own recipe book. Look at that, you guys. That will be the first recipe swap that I want to host, which will be for Valentine's Day. I mean, I'm not sure if there will be a Mother's Day. Mothers are so special. You guys, we're special. So are fathers, but we women take a lot of the household workload on. So I'm not sure yet, but definitely the holidays that I mentioned first. Now, for this particular one, I did cut it out. This is 120-pound cardstock that I have in like an ivory and off-white color. And it's gorgeous. I love this color. And I cut it out with my die. And this one is the one you are going to use for your die, will be the page one, the one that already comes with the tabs. Now, you can decorate your mixer any way you want for Valentine's Day, but just don't make it too bulky, because I know we love dimension. I love dimension too, and I had to contain myself. A little bit of dimension is okay, but not a lot, because these are going to go into the binder, and I want the ladies to be able to put it in their binder, and you're going to be stacking other recipes on top of it. And I don't want whatever decoration that you did, one, will be real bulky that it doesn't lay right, and two, that it's going to get ruined because of the other things that are on top of it. So I'm going to take these out. I created mine to be a pocket. I haven't glued this section down yet. I did glue it, then I unglued it. So I might have to recreate this one again, but we'll see. and I'm going to explain to you why. So I got this digital download from Etsy for recipes. And I printed out, I think there's like 4 of them here. And then I use this little Tim Holtz binder. And that tool I told you guys that I had for leather, it's actually for metal as well, thin metal. And it can make holes in thin metal. So this didn't have a hole, and I cut a hole, punched a hole in it because I wanted to hang a little heart and a key on it. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute, but I'm going to share this first. So right here, I cut out my page with the filler page die, and then I cut out the layering pieces, the one that is the whole silhouette of the top and bottom together. And then I cut out the separate pieces, the top and the bottom. But the first layer that's together, I actually cut it. But first I glued my decorative paper where I wanted it to be, and then I cut it, I split it. You can see it right there, right above the bow. That's where I split it, and I kind of followed the contour of the bottom portion, how it's curved like that. Then I cut out another of the page die, or you can use the one without, the one for the cover. That will work too, because you don't really need the binding system for the pocket to create my pocket. And you're going to trim the top portion off, so you'll get in this corner and you'll trim it right across to that corner. I used a paper that was too short, so I had to cut lower, but I think up here in those corners would be the ideal place for a pocket. I did add some, I cut 1-inch strips of paper, scored them down the middle at 1/2 inch to create a gusset or a hinge system, and I just adhered them to the silhouette, the pocket one, the one that's the full mixer with the bowl and everything. And I only adhered it at the bottom. I went like this, like a U, like a Miami Hurricane U, coming down, across, and back up. I didn't contour it all this way and that way. I didn't, because all I needed was for my recipes to fit in that pocket. But if you want to contour yours, that's fine too. If you want to add a pocket, you don't have to add a pocket. Here's a die I had in my stash, a bow, and this is some bling. I bought this several years ago, you guys, at Michael's, and it was a whole collection, and they had the bling hearts to it. So I just added the heart there. As you can see right here, I use a little die where it says artisan, and then the numbers for the speed. And I did have a little bling right here on the lever, but it was causing the cards to bend up, so I took it off. So I left it without. For the bowl, I embossed it with a rose embossing folder that I have. And then I added these are a tattered lace. They're called French roses. So I added these because they match the color that I was using here. The paper on top and bottom is an old Martha Stewart paper. It's probably not available anymore. Anything I can find, I will link you guys, but I don't think I'm going to find that. And the foiling paper right here came from the same collection as this heart was, but it's an old one from Recollections. You're not going to find it this year. I got it at Michael's several years ago. And so was this Happy Valentine's Day little banner right here, because this is a Valentine's Day swap. I used that banner there. And here is the little whisk that comes with the die set. Look at how gorgeous that is, and it's tiny. So you can use this to, as if you layer it up enough, you can hang it on the rings to your mixer. But I would recommend that you put a piece of acetate behind it, especially the acetate that you get from packages. That way, you know, that's real firm. That way it doesn't get damaged. So that's what I would do, or I would add a bunch of layers. But still, I think the acetate would, you know, gluing a piece of acetate to it would really protect it. And then you could just insert it in the rings, and that would be a decoration. I wanted to be able to decorate mine so you wouldn't be able to write your recipe on here because it would be decorated. So that's why I created the pocket. And also, what I wanted this to do, this is not glued. I didn't glue this down, and there's a reason. But I did use that faux snow, and I use this one. I'm going to link it in the description box below. It's called True Snow, and it doesn't have any sparkle because I didn't want it to have any sparkle. I wanted it to look like buttercream or whipped icing, something like that. So that's why I used that one. I didn't want it. I could have added glitter or the diamond dust or something to make it sparkle, but I just wanted it to look like frosting. So I left it that way. But when you do your one of the requirements that I'm going to want for the mixer is for the recipient, if they're going to try your recipe, I want them to be able to take this out of the pocket and have some kind, whether it be a little clip, however you want to do it, but I want them to be able to take it out, because our recipe book will either be laying down, or if they put it on an easel, it'll be up like this, and you won't be able to read it, you know, without, because you don't want to touch it once you're working with food. So I want it to be able to, that you can prop it up, whether it's with a clip or with a magnet. So that's why I have this loose, and I just tucked it in because I added a magnet there and it was an afterthought. So I had to take my little spatula and try to, pry this up so I could put a magnet in there. But the magnet that I have is real little. And then in the back of my spatula, I added a magnet too. So when the recipient gets my recipe card, they can just put it there, and the spatula will hold it. But of course you gotta, put it evenly. You know, if you put it too much to one side or the other, it's not gonna hold it, but they'll be able to hold it. So that's why I haven't glued it all the way down, because I'm waiting for magnets that are a little bit bigger and therefore stronger. But you want to be able to, if they have it propped up, for them to be able to read the recipe without having to touch it, whether they have something sticky on their hands or something they were cooking, something greasy or anything like that. So they don't have to touch it because the recipe is clipped onto the card, or whether it be with a magnet or with that little binder clip that I said. Now, my handwriting is horrible. So that's another reason why I created the pocket, because I want to be able to either print out the recipe or write it or whatever I'm going to do. But I want to put enough cards in my pocket that the recipient can rewrite it in their own handwriting, so it'll be legible to them, because sometimes we can't read somebody else's handwriting, no matter how pretty and elegant or how bad it is. Sometimes we just can't make it out. So I want the recipient to be able to rewrite it here or print it so they can put it on their little cards. You don't want a full sheet of paper. That way they can put it on their cards with their own handwriting and they can read it. But that is what I created. I haven't decorated the back yet. But these fit in the pocket perfectly. These fit in the pocket perfectly. They're easy to go in and take out. Nothing major. And I kind of just left one loose so you guys could see it. But this little clip, you guys, it is a Tim Holtz clip. And it's tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny. But it actually is a clip. It works. So I thought it was really, really cute, and like I said, I enhanced it by punching a hole through it and adding a little key and a little heart, and I think that it makes it look really, really cute. So that is what I wanted to mention about the mixer. It is going to be a year-long, like I said, God willing. I'm not going to make any plans without whatever the Lord's will is for me. But God willing, this is what I want to do. I want to host a swap. Now I want to share a recipe with you guys. And you might think, oh, anybody can do that. And you guys have heard me mention that I used to make cakes for a living. That's what I used to do. And when you're a cake decorator, you learn all the trade secrets, the brands that are good, and you learn all of that stuff as you're learning how to do it. Because if you want to be really good at what you do, I mean, you're going to look and you're going to search and you're going to do all the research. And I did that when I was doing making cakes, because I wanted to, for my customers to be very satisfied with whatever it was that they were getting from me. But this is something that I do for my family. Look at that, you guys. Ah, don't those look delicious? Look at that. I'm going to tell you what this is. And this is very simple to make. But the secret is my family secret, because not very many people know this. Maybe a few have stumbled upon it. Those who do baking and all that, they know. But normally people don't know, because I've had a lot of people ask me or tried something that they made and it's not the same chocolate. But I have a lot of people that will ask me, well, what chocolate do you use? And so that's why I call it a family secret. And because a lot of people don't know, but I'm going to share it with you guys. All this is the large jumbo marshmallows. If you like marshmallows, you have to like pecans, chocolate, and marshmallows. So I take normally I use not these sticks, but the cake pop sticks, the white ones. They are made by Wilton, I believe, and Joann's carries them. And there's probably some off brands at the other stores, but I'll link some in the description box below. And I dip it, after I've melted the chocolate, I dip it in chocolate and then poke it into the marshmallow, so it sets and it holds on to the marshmallow. And you have to, because these are huge and they get heavy, you want to poke the stick almost all the way to the bottom. Not all the way through, but almost. And if it does poke all the way through, that's okay, because you're going to dip it in chocolate and it's going to cover it up. So I don't use these. This is what I couldn't find mine. My husband put things away and not even he can find them. And so I couldn't find them, but I had these wooden skewers, and that's what I used. And they were really long, so I just cut them in half. And I didn't stick in the part that I broke in half. The part that goes in the marshmallow is the ends, because those don't have any splinters or bamboo splinters or anything like that. So you want to be careful if that's what you're using. So to melt your chocolate, you put a pot of water on the stove. Not a big pot, just, a medium size, smaller medium, not tiny, but and you add water to it about halfway, and then you put your chocolate in a glass bowl bigger than your pot. Now when your water's boiling, put it down to a medium, maybe even a medium low. Put your glass pot on top of that boiling water pot. It's not going to hurt it. And you're going to put your chocolate in there, and you're going to get a silicone spatula, because you don't want it to stick and you want it to constantly be stirring it. That is how you melt your chocolate. You can do it in the microwave, but for me, on the stove has always been the way I do it, because I don't want to have to be putting it in and out, in and out. When my chocolate gets melted enough, I just turn the burner all the way to low and leave it there until I'm done with whatever it is I'm doing, and I don't have to reheat. Now, if your chocolate gets really thick, you can actually use oil to thin it out, but not too much, because then it's not going to set. And there is some that is made for chocolate, but I just use regular cooking oil. That's what you can use. Sometimes they just give things fancy names, and they're just oil. So that's what I use. And for the pecans, I like to use the pecan chips, not the chopped pecans. What I use here are the chopped ones, and they're bigger pieces, but I think is Fisher has some that are pecan chips, so the pieces are smaller. You pour those out in a paper plate or a flat plate or whatever. After you've dipped your stick in your melted chocolate, you're going to poke it into your cake and do that into your marshmallow, and do it to all of them. And then you can start just picking it up and rolling it in the chocolate. And just make sure you let the excess drip off. That way you don't have so much, because they're going to get heavy. And then you're going to roll it in the pecan chips. all around and on the bottom. If you want some on the top, when you set it down, you can sprinkle some on top and they'll dry because the chocolate is still wet. They're going to dry. And that is all that you do for this. But the chocolate I use is made by Merkins, which was formerly Nestle's. So I'm going to link that for you guys, and you're going to love that chocolate. So that is my family secret. I use Merkins candy melts. And there, I use the milk chocolate. I don't like the dark chocolate. I like the milk chocolate. But if you like dark chocolate, and they also do the other colors. But for me, a red, a green, a white, it doesn't really taste like chocolate to me. And I like chocolate. But to each their own. So that is my family secret. That's the recipe I wanted to share with you guys. And normally I would put these in a food grade cello bag. And I put them in individually because these things are huge. It's almost the size of a candy apple. See all the chocolate underneath? I mean, all the pecans. So I lightly coat it in chocolate. You don't want it in clumps or anything like that. And then I get my spatula and I kind of put some on top because I want it to help the stick stay on. Because when the chocolate firms up, it's your marshmallow's not going to come off because they get pretty heavy. And I'm telling you, these things are chunky. And I will put these in food grade food grade cello bags, add a ribbon to it, and I make these for my family and for friends as like a little Christmas gift from my kitchen. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a great day. And remember to check the links below if you're interested in anything that I talked about. Will be there, including the mixer, because like I said, I want the recipes to fit into that recipe book. And if you're using another die that isn't that one, the recipient will not be able to put it into their binding system, and it's not going to be the same size. But I don't like to leave anybody out, so we'll see when we get closer to the swap, how we can remedy that. But for right now, that swap is going to be for those that picked up the mixer. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a great day and God bless. Bye.